But I want to go back to your thing, Dad. You just said viewpoint and the context and your worldview. Basically, when did it change for you? Is what I want to get to. Like, when did Bob get red pilled? Was it after he voted for Carter? Was it the first time he voted for Reagan? Did you vote for Reagan? Like,
the second time he ran, yeah.
oh,
Definitely.
Okay.
Because I actually started a business the same year that Reagan got elected. I started in early 1980, and he got elected in the fall of 1980. And he was such a plain speaker in the, especially on economics and the social scene, that it was pretty clear. He wasn't really, he didn't have a backdoor agenda. He was actually pretty much a straight shooter, and he was doing what he said he was going to do. And that's pretty much the same parallel I see between Reagan and Trump is they pretty much are, they do what they say.
Yeah. And that's the interesting thing too, is Reagan is another one of those that stands so apart from the normal political types. It's like it's the kind of person you want to see in office, even if you don't necessarily agree with everything they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I think I watched like a YouTube video on like the history of the drinking age or something, and then Reagan's part in getting every single state to bump the drinking age to 21 was really, really interesting, because he essentially levied the power of the federal government to get the states to fall in line with his agenda. And then you hear him talk about it, what he wants to do. And like, you hear him actually talk about why he's doing that and what he wants to accomplish with that. And he's like, yeah, I know I'm the guy who told you the scariest phrase you'll ever hear is I'm from the government and I'm here to help
you. Yes.
He's like, I know I said that. But in this case, I really believe that raising the drinking age will stop, will lessen auto fatalities that are alcohol related. And I believe in this so much that I'm willing to leverage government power to do it, even though I would normally be against that sort of thing. And it's like, that's like such a bizarre thing to hear from a politician, like to actually lay out their thought process on why they want to do this thing and what they hope to accomplish with it.
Right.
Most of the time they just sell you some buzzword filled feel good vision of the future, and you don't even really know why they want to accomplish that or what they're going to do to, implement it,
Right. If it's the right person and you see they have the right motives, most people will say, I have a responsibility to elect a person or vote for a person that's going to do the best for this country. Not just me. I have a business and I like to see stuff done that encourages business and free trade and all that. But even if somebody wasn't along that thought line and so the right person came along and you can see through all the garbage, the layers, and you can see they have a good motivation and they've really thought it out clearly. Most people get behind that person.
And I think that's the thing I've noticed looking back at some of the Reagan stuff this week has been, especially comparing him to Trump, is you kind of get a really dang good idea of where their heart lies. And I think back to the first debates in 2015 with the Republican debate with Trump in it, and which is really fun to go back and listen to, by the way, just to see him tear apart all these like establishment folks and the
primary.
The primary, yes, sorry, yeah. The primary. And just to see him tear apart all these Republicans, and it's really funny just to watch, and he makes it entertaining, and he knows he can do that. But two people, I think, come out of that after they watch that debate. One side, one version of that person is this guy is super selfish, just wants to do it for himself, and he doesn't care about anybody. The other person comes out of it saying, holy crap, that guy is no part of anything that the establishment has going on. And I just want to take down the establishment. And this is the guy to do it. This is the bull in the china shop that we need to break apart this stale cemented political parties that have fractured this country. And this is the guy to make changes. So I think those are the two kind of people that come out of that kind of video. And for those who are curious, go back and watch. You don't have to listen. You can watch a famous super cut on YouTube about all the quips and the things he like dogs Jeb Bush and all these people. And it's amazing to watch. And it's just him like basically calling out the whole Republican Party saying, no, that's why the crowd is booing me, because you have the special interest people who are funding the people and all this stuff. And it's great. And it was the first time where I saw where I'm like, dang. And I didn't think he was going to win at all in 2016. I was like, no way. Like Hillary's going to win it. The system,
the primary?
Yeah. Well, no, I didn't. I was just talking about the general election. Like I thought for sure Hillary's going to win it. It's all rigged, the system and all that. But then when he won, I was surprised. I'm like, oh, our system still works. That's really interesting. Okay, cool. And then it was on from there. But anyway, back to Reagan. I think it's cool that, and this guy's also, I kind of like him, just seeing him talk, but to also see like the cuts he made, the deregulation as well that Trump and Reagan, I think, did Reagan brought in deregulation, I think, right?
Yeah, to a certain extent.
Yeah, to a certain extent. Yeah. Trump really, really brought a lot in, but you have that correlation. They both focus on prioritize like low unemployment from what I was researching, as well as making things more friendly for smaller businesses or just business in general, and both invest in the sovereignty of America. And they seek to both end wars in some form or another.
Yeah. And the one thing too that I think really sort of encapsulates what American politics should be like is both, while being wealthier, both were more of an everyman type, because money can change people. And old money, like when you come from money, that can really shape who you are and how you relate to people. But then sometimes, every now and again, you'll get people like Trump, you'll get people like Reagan, who, despite having money, are more normal, more everyday kind of people.
Right.
So they might not necessarily feel the struggles of the common man all the time, but they understand how the common man thinks. They empathize with the common man.
Right.
And also they don't come from the sort of highly incestuous,
that's a good word to use. Let's keep using it.
environment of that normally breeds,
for this situation,
normally breeds politicians. Yeah. They're sort of coming from their own apolitical world into the political sphere to try and solve a problem. Like Reagan was an actor. He
just didn't like communism.
He starred in westerns. He didn't come from a family of politicians. He didn't start off life as a community organizer or anything like that, which is, the normal sort of like first rung on the ladder for politicians. It seems like they never actually get a real job. They go to college, they get a law degree or whatever, and they become a community organizer, and then work their way up to actual elected office from there. But Reagan was an actor. Trump was a real estate guy. They came from outside of politics into the political sphere because there was problems that needed to be solved.
Right. Well, Reagan came up through the actors whatever that was, and he was the head of the Screen Actors Guild, I guess it's called.
Yeah.
And so he kind of saw, a little bit how politics worked. He probably despised it, and that's why he didn't necessarily stay in that position. But yeah, it's more of a practical, down to earth, like you said, but more common sense. If somebody has a business and you got to make it work logically and realistically, and make it the actual business run. The thing I saw real common aspects about Reagan and Trump is their ability to communicate. Completely different styles. Reagan was polished because he was campaigning for Goldwater, which was a hardcore conservative, and the fight against communism, everything, which it's not as much physical domination of the world in communism. It's more of an ideology now that people are trying to incorporate in all the different governments of the world. But Reagan was just transparent in his communication. Trump's a little bit different. He's really simplistic in his communication, and the thing that's funny is he'll repeat himself like 4 times about the same statement, and he doesn't change the statement. He just says it 4 times, and by the time he gets done talking for 5 minutes, you know exactly what he meant because he repeated it so many times. But he does it in a pretty unique style that's not too annoying, but his Trump style is it really hits you hard the first time you see how he deals with people in debates, in the primary and the general election. Reagan was a little bit more subtle in insulting people. I won't use your youth and inexperience as an excuse, whatever the end of that quote was.
Or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was a backhanded, slap in the face, he did it in such a...
I will not let age be the focus of this election or something like that.
Age and inexperience.
Age and experience.
Inexperience in this election. And I actually watched that speech with Mondale. Mondale was a pretty scary guy. He's probably close to Kamala Harris and Bernie Sanders in ideology. Whoa. In 1988.
Whoa.
No, that was 84.
84, yeah.
And you could just see it, if he got behind everything that a president can do, that seemed pretty scary. And Hillary Clinton, anyway.
Scariness, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of funny too, seeing how just effective Trump's communication style was, because it engages the everyman, but it puts off, it annoys and irritates the people it was meant to annoy and irritate.
Right.
And engages and draws in everybody else, which is really funny because even though his communication style is, I would not call Trump one of the great orators of our time necessarily, right. But it's so funny. It's like people think he's dumb, but he's not. Like, his communication style is crafted and very honed. It accomplishes what it needs to. It doesn't... Right. And he doesn't have to sound, like Cicero giving a speech before the Roman Senate,
An orator.
Yeah, exactly. Doing it. because it accomplishes what he needs it to accomplish, which is really interesting to see, because most of the time politicians really try to be gifted orators.
Right.
Obama was a gifted orator. Joe Biden, before his mental decline, was a very gifted orator.
Very good. Yeah, if you look at especially the what's the justice he was going against when in the 80s?
I don't know.
Supreme Justice Thomas. Yeah, I was watching some of the hearings that Biden spoke.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Pretty bad, but man, that guy can sure speak really well.
Yeah. You wonder what happened. But anyway,
where did he go?
Yeah. So anyway, Biden, gifted orator. Obama, gifted orator. But like, as wonderful as their speech was to listen to, didn't really mean a whole lot, because their agendas were hidden.
Mm-hmm.
Trump, his communication style completely different, and yet it accomplishes what it needs to accomplish.
Right, which gets into polarization, which has always been a evil term in politics, because you're polarizing and separating the camps.
Mm-hmm.
But Trump's ability to polarize people exposes for them for who they are.
Yep.
And that is a different element added to polarization, which I haven't heard anybody talk about, but it's what I see in politics today, is exposing people and laying, I don't know if he does it on purpose or not, but he lays a lot of traps for people to fall in and expose who they really are, which is amazing, because it's the hardest thing to do, is to say, you believe this, how do I get you to say actually what you believe? But he does it by floating ideas. He'll do things, and the way he communicates what he did irritates people that are completely against him. And then they go off the handle and just expose who they are by their actions and their words. I think it's funny, but I haven't seen a lot of people be able to do that.
Yeah. That is it's a rare talent, because politicians, I think, spend their whole lives trying to avoid saying what they really believe.
Right.
Because for so long, the game has been tell people what they want to hear and then get in and
do whatever you want.
Exactly. And so having someone who can consistently get people to just out themselves, that's a rare skill.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think it's definitely a skill. Like, when you just look at him, it's definitely a skill he's had lots of time to practice with, not just because he's old, but because he's been in business a very long time, and straight shooter, making the deal, the art of the deal, that kind of thing. And I think I was talking to who was I talking to? And they said, "Man, have you read it?" And I was like, "What? The Art of the Deal?" And I was like, "Nah." And he's like, "Oh, dude, it's really freaking good, especially if you're gonna start a business. It's something that's a must read." And I was like, "Interesting, okay." But then you think about it, and you're like, he comes from that world, and as well as he is who he is, and unapologetically so. And it's just kind of cool to see a politician be that way. There's some people who try to mimic that and pretty much fail. I remember this last election cycle, we had the primaries, and it was pretty much Nikki Haley, DeSantis, Vivek, or Trump. And I think everybody was like, "Oh yeah, Trump's going to get it." But there's a lot of people like me who are thinking, you know what, DeSantis might get it. I don't think it'll be Nikki or Vivek. The Republicans really try to get Nikki going in there, because they know she'll appeal to special interests and that kind of thing. But especially with war. But and who's to say the others would or wouldn't, But it was really interesting to see the conversation around just friends and family, and saying, it might be DeSantis. Oh, no, but it's Return of the Jedi. Trump should come back, And it's like, it was just a fun conversation around locally here with people. I remember talking to Sarah about it. I'd be like, "I don't know, Sarah, might be DeSantis." She's like, "No, Trump's got to come back." But Yeah, for polarization, it's interesting because sunlight is the best disinfectant.
That's right.
And when you tell the truth, it shines a light on it. And it's really it's a very effective tool that should be used, I think, more sometimes.
Yeah, that really